now we're live here. This is the Darren and Patty Show. We're talking about racism and sexism.
In Occupy, I think let's contextualize it among our comrades, right? Let's contextualize it because I hear it all the time when I see people.
We're also with Occupy Fights for Closures on an Action. So
we are.
But anyway, we're just taking a break and
right?
We're waiting for the criminal to come out. Anyway.
And we're waiting for him. We're waiting to see if they will actually punish him, but we don't expect that.
Back to checking ourselves.
Checking ourselves. I think it's good. I do it all the time. I do it all the time because I know that for me, as somebody who has grown up in a culturally mixed background, like I feel that I know what's up with white people just as much as I know what's up with the other kinds of people that I grow up with. And so to me, there's a point in my own process of development where I realize, oh my God, like white people really don't get a lot of shit. Like, they really don't. We really don't. And as a man, men really don't understand the disparity and really don't understand how we participate in the harassment and silencing of women. To me, that's a simple understanding. But I think there's a period of scandal or shock and surprise where you realize how little you've been aware of that, how little you've been cognizant of that. I think what happens is, in our own movement, is that when people start getting radicalized through the process of protesting and organizing with each other, then we start to internalize those contradictions and think of them as the big deal. But really they're just a big deal to us because they go on every day, right? And they're still going on, and people are habituated and accustomed to them. So I think it's a mistake to embody that and think that we're being radical or we're being militant by constantly shouting about it.
And also we've been discussing the George Orwell
Animal Farm.
What's it called? Allegory? What is it called?
It's like an allegory.
Allegory of Animal Farm and how the story George Orwell's Animal Farm applies to us.
It does. But like I said, in Animal Farm, that was supposed to be a critique of Stalin and the revolution in Russia, to say that when it was supposed to be a proletarian revolution, the people that took power ended up becoming like the bosses and the capitalists, the people that were being fought against racism. So I don't even think it's that much success.
But I think if you leave out the part about crumbling leave out the part about the revolution succeeding, you just skip to the part about how we become like our oppressors.
But see, that's the thing is, I think the trick is that we already have been like our oppressors. Like, because we are already part of that system.
I think it's just that it's a part of human nature that Orwell noticed. That I think we all emulate our oppressors all the time.
That's the whole point. Who wants to be poor? I mean, if we think about growing up on TV, we have certain models and certain ideals, and those tend to be upper class white people. Like when in America, when we say that anybody can be president, like obviously we know that's not true, but when we think about what that means, what we're aspiring to, it's a certain upper class, wealthy, white male that we're supposed to be modeling our behavior after over and over again in all of our lives. So I think that what happens to us is that when we become aware that that's actually kind of evil and we should be fighting against this system, we tend to confuse talking about that with actual changing of our relationships, because the system or the oppression has to do with the direct, concrete relationships that we're all engaged in. It doesn't have to do with the ideas that we believe necessarily, because we can believe whatever we want and capitalism will keep functioning. We can believe whatever we want in racism and sexism, homophobia, ableism, that will all keep functioning. That's the whole point of our system, is that our beliefs don't matter. It's what we do, it's how we make our money.
And ableism is a really big one that I don't think we really have discussed a lot, but ableism is huge. I mean, I get, even personally, get like told, oh, well, you shouldn't, if you're dyslexic, you shouldn't be doing that. oh, you shouldn't be online. You shouldn't be participating in Facebook if you're struggling with reading and writing. Oh, you shouldn't even be there. And I'm like, no, I'm just asking that people be patient with me, understand I take things the wrong way because I read it wrong, you know. And then there's another person, I won't name any names, who has like a seizure disorder and was thrown out of a home occupation at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I can understand, like, there's concerns. We don't want the AMT coming to the house and attracting attention. But you don't throw somebody out of your house at 1 o'clock in the morning. Or it wasn't the homeowner who did it. It was an activist who did it.
Yeah, again,
but
that's one of those things, right? But where does that leave us, Patty? Where does that leave us?
It leaves us acting like the oppressor.
It is. But the thing is that in our so-called regular lives, we might respond to that with outrage. We might respond to that with indignation. But when we're all in this together, all in the movement, it's much more problematic because it's not as simple as just being angry, right? It's like it takes real common commitment to get through that. For the people that are being neglected and dismissed, it takes a lot for them to keep going, to keep struggling. And for the people that are doing it,
it's like it's hell to get any recognition. It's a lot of hassle to get any recognition for any kind of oppression within the movement, right? Right?
What kind of recognition? I don't know. You
to
lost
get people
me.
to realize that, okay, maybe I am prejudiced, maybe I am disregarding you unfairly, maybe I am not treating you as an equal, maybe I am dismissing you because of something that you couldn't.
I don't even need people to acknowledge. I don't even care if people like openly admit it. If they would just stop doing it, I'm good. Because like I was having this conversation with somebody about like one person who fucked up one time. And I'm like, well, if somebody fucks up one time, are we going to hold that against them forever? And the response was, well, if they're not going to acknowledge it, if they're not going to apologize for it. And then my response was, I don't care if they apologize or acknowledge, because those are just words. Like, did this person do it again? No. Cut them some slack. You know?
That is a disagreement. There's a disagreement. I don't think it's been resolved. Not just in Occupy, but in all social movements, right? Those are very difficult things of how do we hold people accountable? How do we hold each other accountable? Are we accountable to each other? I mean, I think the answer so far is that no, I don't think we're accountable. I mean, no, we are to a lot of extent. Like, there's a lot of things that I know that where I've seen accountability, where I've seen people saying no, like, we have to deal with oppression internally with ourselves, right? And there's a fine line between that and just throwing judgments at each other, you know? So I think that's a tough question about if somebody does something. Oh, look, they're coming out right now too.
So it looks like the court is over now, you guys. So we'll find out right now what happened. You know, guys, I'm going to archive real so I can keep the stream separate.